Good Saturday morning and welcome to another edition of the award-winning Outdoors with Larry Ray.
Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency.
Now, here's your host, Larry Ray.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome to Outdoors with Larry Ray. Now, if people only knew how we get here so early and get everything so set up. No, we come right in and do it, don't we, John Gordon? I mean, we're
I'm usually coming in hot, Larry. You know,
you're hot,
got
man.
A minute or two to spare. That's about it.
Yeah, and this the other guy, that's John Gordon, of course, senior communications specialist.
I remember I got a title change, Larry.
You did get, what is that title change again now?
I'm
all right. What?
Media production manager.
Media production
manager.
Manager. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I'll get that now. Okay, and so that is MPM.
Yeah, on the
okay.
NPM.
You're an NPM, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So we got John Gordon. He's coming in to keep me company this morning on this Saturday morning. And then, of course, this is second Saturday. We do have Mr. Wong, Mr. Ron Wong in Ridgeland, Mississippi. Good morning, Ron.
Hey, good morning, Larry. Good morning, John. Good morning, everybody. It is a beautiful day here on Barnett Lake in Ridgeland, Mississippi.
And you are at the what?
I'm at the Crappie Now, Catfish Now magazine media camp, and golly, we've had a wonderful time working on content for both of those magazines. They're online magazines, and I have to tell you, and we've got a guest coming on here shortly, within the next minute or two.
Yes, we
that
do.
knows all about Crappie Now and Catfish Now magazine.
Okay, well, so we're not going to really have Ron Fishing Report will be in the show, folks. For all you folks out there listening, that we will have Ron. We will have his fishing report, but we do have another special guest in with us this morning, and that's Vic Lucas, St. Jude Bass Classic. Good morning, Vic.
Good morning, Ron. How you doing?
All right, we're glad to have Vic here, and he knows Ron Wong and the St. Jude Bass Classic, of course, is the 25th and 26th. 26th on Sardis Lake, right, Vic?
Yes, sir. Yep.
And we're going to talk with Vic about it because he's the man this year, and so we're going to try to give him some help. But we're going to have it's going to be a variety show today, John. You like that, don't you?
Is there duck hunting involved?
Yes, there will be some duck hunting involved.
All right.
We will throw some of that in there, along with some brim fishing and maybe a little trout fishing and a little fishing, of course, with Ron on the show. But we've got another guest that, Ron, why don't you go ahead and see if you can get him on the line, Shelby? See if we can get this man on the line because he's down there, and I guess he's one of the ringleaders for this event, and we're going to talk to him.
He absolutely is.
When you think about Crappie Now and Catfish Now, we've got the man himself who has been for this thing, and that's Dan Dannenmueller. And we're going to hook up with Dan at the event. Then we got Tom Brewbaker out of Rather Outdoors. Talk about a big month-long Big Bass, Strike King Big Bass Challenge. Then we call Christy Graham, the Arkansas Game and Fish Trout Management Supervisor. Johnny Cornbread Warren. Talk about a big event coming up at Reelfoot Lake and how awful the waterfowl season was last year. And, of course, we got Vic inside with us, and then close it out with a catfish man himself, Keith Sutton. And he is going to talk about the Catfish Now magazine, online magazine. But let's see if we can get Shelby's working on Dan, and I hope he answers our phone, Ron, because if he doesn't, then we're just going to talk to you. So she is trying to get him right now. And but I will say good Saturday morning to all you folks in Memphis here on AM 790. From 9 to 10:30. In Brownsville on 1520 AM, 95.3 FM, and also in Jackson on News Talk 101.5. And our first attempt to get Dan did not work, Ron, so we'll have to just keep rolling on that. If we don't get
all right, well,
because you talked to him and you said he was going to be ready, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he didn't answer the first time we called him on this Saturday morning, so we'll just go ahead and give us a fishing report, Ron. Here's your chance.
All right.
Give it to me.
But, yeah.
You're on the spot.
I got 2 minutes, right?
No, you got more than that. Go ahead. We're still trying Dan. All right?
Yeah. Yeah. Try to call Dan again there, Shelby, and we'll get them hooked up. Anyway, fishing report.
Yes.
Half of the crappie have spawned, and half of them haven't.
Okay.
So you've got post-spawn, pre-spawn crappie right now. Those that are in post-spawn, they're kind of hard to catch. That's what they call the pro-spawn funk with crappie. They don't bite well. But the crappie that are biting are the ones that are still full of eggs, and they'll be spawning this month. And the best way to catch them is vertical jigging around cover.
Okay.
Bushes,
All right.
down trees,
All
anything like that.
All right.
Vertical jigging using a 1/16 ounce pink eye hole jig
Okay.
with a Mardi Gras colored crappie magnet. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Mighty fine color.
All right.
Got glitter and chartreuse in it.
Okay.
And then for those of you that are going to Pickwick and places like that, brush piles in 8 to 10 feet of water using again, eye hole jig, 1/8 ounce
Okay.
with a Bobby Garland stroller on it in a monkey milk color will work real good for you. For you bass fishermen.
No, let's just skip bass. Hey, we're skipping bass. This is crappie time this week. You bass fishermen, get out of the way. We're going to talk crappie because we got Dan on the line. Dan Dannenmueller is on the line with us, Ron, and I know he wants to talk catfishing and crappie. And let's skip the bass. Is that okay with you, John Gordon? Let's skip the bass.
It's fine. I like a bass.
I like a bass too. But good morning, Dan.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Hey, we're doing great. Glad to get you on the line, and please take care of Mr. Wong while he's down there. Okay.
I will. We will.
I know it's a hard job for you, but I think
somebody's got to pay the price.
Somebody's got to pay the price, and I know you guys are down in Richland, Mississippi, at Ross Barnett Reservoir for a Crappie Now media event, and I'm so glad that Ron could represent Outdoors with Larry Ray down there, Dan. And I know this event, as Ron was telling me about, man, we've talked about it before, but as Ron says, let's talk Crappie Now and Catfish Now, online magazines. Particularly, let's talk Crappie Now because, man, you have done something pretty cool here, people. You've got such a following. I don't know how many you have now, but it's pretty.
We have 50,000 followers.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, we had on the crappie side over 13 million reaches. Yes, last year.
Yeah.
With great. Reach numbers where they interacted with us at roughly 5.5%, which the industry standard is 0.03.
Oh, yeah.
And so we believe in the crappie fishing for everyone, and it shows. And when you have a passion for something like this, it's not hard to do all the right things for people because you know what they're really asking. And getting those calls from those folks to ask what they need to do with rods and reels and all that, and stopping in parking lots to chat with Sue and I.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that right there. Forget all the tournaments. Forget all the important things to reach out to all of you out there.
And of course, you mentioned Sue. We got to put that in there because you guys are a team. You and Sue.
That's right.
And Dan.
That's right.
And the evolution of this. The Crappie Now particularly, and Ron knows this better anyway, content. You guys have really set up a network of good folks and things along that, information-wise, and at the same time, you've opened it up to probably no telling how many new crappie anglers through your publication. Talk about that.
We have been able to, one of the things, the premises of the magazine, both digitally, online, and the web, and on social media, it was our design to go after the beginner and children and bringing people to the sport that weren't in the sport and growing it to younger generations because when we started, the 65 and over crowd was the principal readers of crappie information, which is my age group.
Yes, yeah.
And so, but we had to reach everyone else that wants to go out there and catch a crappie and put it on the frying pan and come away with some of the great eating that crappie is. So we wanted to teach the beginner, teach those people that don't have access that want to get out once a month or once a year and be able to do that. And I think that's where, without changing our focus all these years, has allowed us to get to this point. And I've got to say, I've got one of the best staffs in the world.
You do,
that makes it happen.
Yes. And I think the key to that, so how long have y'all has Crappie Now been online?
14 years.
Wow. You guys are really one of the originators, weren't you? I mean,
yes, I was one of the founding fathers with, and I'm the one who got to finance it all with Tim Huffman and TJ Stallings.
Yeah,
and we've, they're absolutely. TJ's gone to heaven and is watching down on us.
Yes, he is.
And Tim is, getting up in years, and Tim's had some. He's just had, like we all do, getting where we need new parts, and we can't go to a garage.
But Hall of Fame people and the content. And Ron, you're down there at this event that they're putting on. Tell us what's happening down there, Ron.
Well, I got one of the things that we're doing is we're putting together a lot of short videos, very concise videos that talks about equipment, it talks about baits, it talks about technique, but at a very basic level, especially for people entering into the crappie fishing world and into the industry.
Yeah.
And I have to tell you, and one of the best sources I can tell everybody, again, is Crappie Now magazine, which is an online magazine. And, Dan, it is a free magazine also, right?
It is. Everybody that wants to read it, they can go online. We don't require that you even register. But if you do register, we will send a newsletter each month as we publish. And you get it in your email, and then you could download it, print it off of it if you wanted to.
And that's two of Ron's favorite words is free and food. I mean, they go
free fishing and food.
Yes. That goes along with it, and it's constantly being changed, isn't it? I mean, you guys update this stuff with new stuff. I don't just about monthly. Yeah. So you're going to get new things every month right there in front of you on the computer, which is
right on the website. That is updated monthly.
Yeah.
On the social media side, we have something posting multiple things posting every day.
And this is
now, Dan, tell our listeners about your social media websites, or social media platforms. How do they access them?
Yeah.
Okay, what they do is they can go to any channel they want. We're in all channels except Snapchat. We're not on Snapchat. We are on TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. We have videos. We have all of that. All they have to do is just get access to it and the page is Crappie Now, and the Catfish one is Catfish Now. And you can go up and friend us, or you can go, it's a business page, a magazine page. So once you do that, you're going to get tagged with any and all content that's being posted. As long as they keep coming back to the site, they're going to get notifications every day.
There you go. Well, Dan, we appreciate it, buddy. We got to take a break. We want to squeeze Dan in there because it's a big event going on down there. Crappie Now.
Yes, it is.
And then we'll be talking later in the show with the catfish man himself, Keith Sutton. But, Dan, appreciate you, buddy. We're going to take a break on Outdoors with Larry Ray, and we'll be right back.
Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM.
Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife and Resources Agency.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray. And I tell you what, we put these shows together every week, and you never know what's going to happen when you come in the studio on Saturday morning. But we appreciate all of our listeners out there, all these almost 24 years on the air. And I know these two co-host guys that with us today, John Gordon is in studio, and let me get this right, media production manager. Is that close?
That's correct.
That is correct, for Ducks Unlimited, and he always makes fun of my bag when I bring it in. You do know, you see I still have it, right? I think you probably gave that to me.
I gave that to you.
You gave that to me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many years that bag has been around, but
that bag is probably at least 15 years old.
15 years old. I don't throw things away. You know, when I pass, my son's going to have a tough time cleaning out my attic. I can tell you that. And then, of course, this is second Saturday, and on this May the 11th, and that brings in our man himself, Ron Wong, who has been doing this show since he's a little boy, blowing the saxophone at Westwood High School, I think. No. Good morning, Ron. Back to you, buddy.
Hey, good morning, Larry. Good morning, John. Good morning, Victor.
Tell us about this.
Everybody. I got to tell you something.
Tell us about this next guest. I mean, I'm interested.
Hey,
in
I'll
talking
tell you
to
what. Our next guest
is going to be a regular.
Well, first of all, he's going to be a regular.
Yeah.
But more importantly, he took over. He has some big shoes he had to fill, and he is more than.
He's done it. Yeah.
He's going to be doing it, and he's knocking it out of the park. Of course, you know, we have friends there at Rather Outdoors, which is better known as Strike King and Lose. And our next guest is he is the brand marketing manager, and I may have gotten that wrong.
That's close enough. He'll take that. So.
Yeah, for Strike King and Lose, Tom Brewbaker. Tom, good morning.
Good
morning, Ron.
Good morning,
Larry. Ron, you gave me a better intro than I deserve.
Okay, well, we'll try to change that next time, Tom. But we want to get off to a good foot to you because we really wanted to talk about some things that are going on at Rather Outdoors over there in Columbia, South Carolina. Of course, we still think of here on Washington Street in Collierville with Strike King and Lose is still. Well, if you go to ratheroutdoors.com, and these people are worldwide. I mean, you know, they're in Springfield for sure, Missouri, and other places, but they have one event before Ron gets into all these products that he knows all about that really got is the Big Bass Challenge, the Strike King Big Bass Challenge USA. Started on May the 1st, goes through all of May. Over $60,000 in cash and prizes to be awarded, and tell us about it, Tom.
Yeah. So you covered the highlights there, but I will tell you this is something that is probably not typical to your listeners here or bass anglers anywhere, just because it's brand new in terms of having a way to host a nationwide tournament where you can win some mega cash and prizes. And basically, it's just a way to connect everybody in one single tournament, regardless of if you're fishing in Florida or Minnesota or Oregon or, you know, what have you. There's a division, 5 divisions that are set up based on where you are in the country. It's as easy as going to StrikeKing.com. You'll see a banner down there for the Big Bass USA. And essentially what it is you're fishing for a month long, and of course, now being the 11th, you got about 20 days left to score those fish. Yeah. But it's as easy as taking a picture of it on a measuring board. You got to read the rules, of course, on how to actually enter that at fishingchaos.com or at strikeking.com. But yeah, it's you taking a picture of a fish. It's based on length of that fish, which is a little different for some people, but also something that a lot of bass anglers are used to. Yeah. Whether it's weight or length. They're both great ways to determine how good of a bag you put together. But over the course of a month, your best 5 fish will be taken. They're automatically culled, so obviously you don't have to manually decide what your best 5 are. The system will automatically update it. Wow. And then at the end of the month, we're going to see who comes in the top 10. You're going to win anywhere from $3,000 cash for first place in each one of those regions. Yeah. And then everybody that enters and scores 5 fish that are at least 14 inches are going to be in a drawing for a Minn Kota Ultrex Quest.
Wow.
A Humminbird Helix.
Okay.
Helix 12 and Dakota Lithium batteries, a whole bunch of cool stuff. So, it's pretty great.
And you can be on the bank. I mean, this is open to everyone, right, Tom? I mean, as long as they submit their pictures and pick your best 5, you could be on the bank fishing or whatever it might be. And we're talking about length here. And, again, we're talking to Tom Brewbaker of Rather Outdoors.
Tell our listeners, how much does it cost to do this?
Yeah.
It's $10.
$10. That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
$10.
Ron can collect that from 5 of his friends. Okay, I mean, come on.
Come on, Ron. I expect to see you at the top of the leaderboard.
$2 a friend, Ron. Come on now.
Yeah, that's right.
I'll tell you, we're 11 days in.
And a chance to win so much.
They're going to need a lot more length than what's in there right now. If you're just now jumping into this, I can tell you you're not too far behind. All it takes is one good day.
One good day, and you have a chance to win those prizes. This is a cool idea, Tom, that opens it up. There's no age limit. They can have geezers like me, or they can have young people, or whatever they might do. And just it's a fun event for $10, okay? And so jump in that and do that. So I wanted to get that out of the way in a hurry, Tom, because I think it's a great idea. And then, of course, Ron wants to talk about those new products. He's already told me about a couple of them, but let's get from the horse's mouth. Not you, Ron, from Tom himself. But you can ask the question because you've already told me about that new Rage Hawk, that Strike King Rage Hawk, and that custom light SS spinning reel, which I don't know what SS stands for. I get kind
shallow
of
spool.
What is it?
Shallow spool.
Shallow spool. Okay, I can't say that on the radio. It won't come out. I just spit all over the microphone here. But talk about him, Ron. Ask him some of them serious questions now.
Yeah, Tom, you guys, the custom light reel was real popular after it was introduced after the Hypermag spinning reel.
Yeah.
But now you've come out with a shallow spool custom light spinning reel. Tell our listeners about that reel.
Yeah, and you mentioned the Hypermag, so I'll start there. The Hypermag, at least in my opinion as an angler, growing up, I've used all kinds of spinning reels. And for lures, I didn't start really using their spinning reels until the Hypermag came out. And then from there, there's now the Custom Pro, you have the Custom Light, and lures, I'll tell you what, they are now at the premier level in terms of quality, just the mechanics behind it, the drag system. I think if you put one of those in your hand, you're probably not going to want to spend any more than $159.99, which is the price of the Custom Light. And it's just an incredible drag for that price. It's just an incredible reel. So from there, we launched the shallow spool, and it's just like it sounds. It's a shallower spool. So you don't have to put a bunch of backing on there. It's basically simplified. Simplified angler innovation, you could call it. Doing something that is kind of like, well, why not think of that before? Why haven't more people done that? And just finding a practical solution to something like, why would you need to put a bunch of backing on it if you're only going to be, casting, at most 30 or 40 yards. It's got plenty of, line still on there, braid still on there to fight any fish that's fighting you hard, a big smallmouth or what have you. So I would say in particular, the drag is just incredible. And of course, having that awesome gold shallow spool on there, it just looks really cool.
And that some other things from Strike King coming out that Ron had mentioned to me, like the Rage Hawk and other things. Ron, you'd mentioned that. Some other new products coming out.
Talk about some of those new products in the gravel dog, crankbait. You guys got several pretty new baits out. Tell our listeners about them.
Well, we introduced like 19 new ones for 2024.
New ones.
So I'll hit the highlights. You mentioned the gravel dog, and of course when Strike King comes out with a new crankbait, we have so many crankbaits. So why would we need another one? Well, it's because Kevin Van Dam and Todd Castledine got together, and they wanted to create
combo.
Something.
Yeah, that's a pretty good duo right there.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, the stories I've heard about how they got that bait right.
We'll get that on another show. You got 2 minutes to tell us about these new ones, okay?
All right, cool. You guys check out the Gravel Dog, brand new custom colors on there. You're going to see that across the whole Strike King line here coming soon, but in particular with the Gravel Dog. The Rage Hawk, you're just going to have to check it out. It's a unique profile that I really can't describe well. It's unique. It's got two little wings on it, basically, that have a unique presentation, and it's great for bed fishing. Flipping it around, it's a very small bait. Now, it's 3.5 inches, but it can hold a 5/0 hook. So, okay. It's just a unique flipping thing that's out there. And of course, Rage, it's innovative, so I would check that out.
Yeah. Well, so we're in our closing minute here. As Ron always tells me, where can we go to get information about not only the Strike King Big Bass Challenge, but also what's going on with new loose products? Tell us that, Tom.
Well, you can go to loose.com. You can go to Wired to Fish. You can see a lot of great articles on Game and Fish. Actually, just named the Custom Light rod series.
There you go.
The Editor's Choice.
Yes.
So best rod in the game, so go check it out there. But yeah, of course, you got lose.com. We're going to have all that information there.
All the information. Tom Brewbaker, thank you, buddy, for being on Outdoors with Larry Ray, and just plan on us bugging you a little bit, okay? All right?
Absolutely. Love it. I'll be back.
All right, man. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Let's take a break. We'll be right back on Outdoors with Larry Ray.
Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM.
Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife and Resources Agency.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray. And good morning to all you folks in Brownsville again on 1520 AM, 95.3 FM, News Talk 101.5 in Jackson, of course, right here in Memphis on AM 790. 92.9 HD FM every Saturday morning from 9 to 10:30 in Memphis. And we had hoped to get this young lady on last week's show, but things didn't work out. But it's good because the Arkansas Game and Fish, of course, you know I'm from God's country, and one of my favorite places to go is the Little Red River. I was there when the one and only Rip, I can't remember Rip's last name, he just caught the 40-pound rainbow German brown trout. Anyway, brown trout. Well, we're going to talk right now with Christy Graham. She is the Arkansas Game and Fish Trout Management Supervisor, and they've got a program through research with the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, and I think you folks really need to listen up to. So, good, first of all, good Saturday morning, Christy.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Let's talk about this because I know the trout waters of Arkansas are pretty close to you. I mean, you've been doing it for a while, 10 years of which you've been the coordinator position, trout management program coordinator for the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission. And this program that you did, tell us a little bit about these brown trout and what y'all have done over there.
Yeah, so this is a really great project we've got going on. Started working with UAPB about 5 years ago after we did our last management plan for the fishery, and identified a bunch of needs, things we needed to know about the brown trout population. So that's kind of what spawned this project and a couple of previous ones. We've spent a lot of time looking at trout spawning for the last few years, and now we've shifted into looking at brown trout movements throughout the tailwater, and we'll be doing this for the next year.
For the next year, and of course you started the project back in December by collecting brown trout from the pools of the river along the various locations from the Greers Ferry Lake Dam to Searcy. Now, I always think of to Pangbert. I never think about to Searcy, but you extended this and you picked up 150 brown trout, if I must lead my press release, and you did what to them? You put a transmitter on them, right? I mean,
yeah. So we actually, when we collected the brown trout, we surgically implanted transmitters.
Surgically, you didn't clip them or anything like that. And
no, we actually cut them open, put the transmitters in, and stitched them up. If anybody happens to catch one, they'll see on the fish's belly a stitches mark where we stitched them, and then about a 12-inch transmitter antenna coming out of the bottom of the fish.
And you did not daze them. I mean, you didn't put them under. They were kicking, I guess, when you.
No, we used a really cool new fisheries technique, at least new to us, which is electric handling gloves.
Yeah.
So it's actually, you can handle the fish. It puts a small current of electricity through them and actually knocks them out just like a drug would, and sedates those fish so they don't move around.
That's pretty cool. And so you put these transmitters on them. Traditional trout waters at, I know where that is, where Highway 305 crosses the river, and you tag the fish from Highway 305 to Searcy. And what's been the results? Because listen to this, folks. This is pretty phenomenal what they've done, and they've done public input. And we'll talk about. Just recently had a meeting with some folks to let them in on what's going on this thing. But you've received signals from 147 out of 150 transmitters
Wow.
so far.
Wow.
So far we
wow.
It's pretty. That's an excellent
yes.
statistic for us.
Yes.
So we have receivers located up and down the river every 6 to 7 miles from the dam all the way to Searcy. And so we've been able to track these fish moving back and forth. And the first 6 weeks of the study, from December through late January, we saw the fish moving an average of 40 miles.
An average of 40 miles.
Wow.
And so that's moving up and down the stream back and forth between these receivers. When you break it down by month, we saw average movements around 27 miles in December. And that you would expect that's their spawning season when they're moving around a lot.
Yeah.
Then that kind of tapered off as we got into the spring and out of the spawning season. But yeah, we were talking about this, but one of the fish we've seen moved almost 800 miles in that first 6 weeks of the project.
One fish moved 800 miles.
It just swam up and down, up and down, up and down multiple times during that 6 week period. It's really.
Now you've been doing this.
Wow.
Yeah, you've been doing this a long time, Christy. Did that blow your mind?
It blows my mind.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah.
I expect some big movements. That's the exception. That fish is the exception. It's not the normal fish or the typical fish.
It's a hyper brown. Okay, we know that. I mean, a little kid having fun or something out there.
Yeah, it really does. It really did move a lot, and that's really interesting. But, we had 100 fish of the 150 move anywhere from 6 to 60 miles during that time. So these fish moved around a lot.
And this is really a first-time research on this. I mean, this is the idea that you've been working with UAPB for, you said, 5 years now. And so what is their part in this? The students there are involved in this, I'm assuming.
Yep. Yeah, these are, so the projects themselves are done by graduate students getting their master's degrees, really good experience for them. But ultimately, the results from this helps us make our management recommendations. Do we need more protection? Do we need additional spawning areas protected? Knowing where they go, when they spawn, where they spawn is all critical to us in making recommendations for the fishery in the future.
And, of course, you just had a meeting at Heber Springs at the community center there.
Yep.
You told me you had about 40 people. How about that meeting? How'd it go?
Yeah, it was a great meeting. We invited folks from the public to come in and hear about this project and the stuff that we have going on the river down there. And it was really well received. We got a lot of good comments and questions, and it's important for us to continue to update the public, and I like being part of shows like this and get the word out even more. I mean, it's just really, really good research that we're doing.
Well, of course, Memphis is a heart and soul for Little Red River. We have so many people from Memphis that go to the Little Red River and fish, and I know I've been over and back in days in snowstorms and all sorts of stuff like this. This project itself, is it funded by the Arkansas Game and Fish? How's that work?
It is. It's funded by the Game and Fish Commission. So we're paying for it. We're paying them to do the work for us.
And so how long? Excuse me, but how long does this program ongoing? I mean, is this will you stock any more, or is this set up for now?
Well, this project that's going on in kind of a companion project looking at how many trout are in the lower part of the river are going to last through next July.
Okay.
And then also this, some people might be interested to know that this July we're also starting a diet study on the Little Red River, where we're going to be looking at what did the trout eat, how much food's available, and is that affecting how fast the fish grow on the Little Red River? And that project will be a 2-year project as well.
Wow. All right. Again, we're talking to Christy Graham. She is the Arkansas Game and Fish Trout Management Supervisor about the new program where they are putting radio transmitters on these brown trout. And what size are these we talking about? Are these catchable fish, I'm assuming?
Yeah, so the brown trout that we tagged were at least 14 inches.
Okay.
The transmitters themselves are about an inch or two long, and you have to make sure you don't put something too big and too small to fish. So we had a minimum size of 14 inches, but I think the biggest one we tagged was probably close to 22 inches.
Whoa, that's okay. Yeah, John Gordon's sitting over measuring it out over here. I know that for a fact. And also, I'm assuming these fish have been caught. What happens on that? Do you tell the people to release them back, or what's?
Yeah, we've had a few anglers catch our fish. We've seen some pictures on social media. I've got a call or two about them. People can harvest them if they're a legal size. Of course, they have to be 16 inches. But
yes, yeah.
they can harvest it if it's a legal fish. But, we want them to let them go because that's going to get us the data that we need. But certainly if somebody wanted to keep it. But if they do, I hope they let us know and we can get our transmitter back from them. And,
it's pretty cool what you're doing. We have a man here in the Mid-South who's doing the same thing on his own just about on catfish in the Mississippi River. And I know he has had catfish 800 miles away, too, up and down that river. But it's pretty interesting. Well, tell us now, Christy, how are things on the Little Red River? It's a unique river. Of course, the white is twice as big, but the Little Red has the grass and everything else. And when the big fish was caught those many years ago and they put the place on the map, what's the shape of the river now? How are we doing?
Yeah. No, I think the river's in good shape. We do annual monitoring surveys just about every year. The fish are healthy. We have good average sizes for rainbows and browns. Rainbow numbers are down a little bit because we haven't been stocking as much. But the brown trout are in great shape. Average sizes have gone up by several inches the last 5 years. So everything looks really good. We're looking at ways we can possibly put in some more rainbows, trying to figure that out right now. But otherwise, I think the fishery's in pretty darn good shape.
And what about the golden trout and other things like that? Are y'all continuing to look at things like that?
Yeah, we haven't done any golden rainbow trout in the Little Red.
I know it. That's why.
You and I talked about this a few years ago up on the White River. We were doing that. They were coming from a private hatchery. We were buying them after the Spring River flood back in 2017, but we haven't done that now for a couple of years.
Well, it's pretty interesting, folks, and you can go to the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission. We have this complete press release posted on Outdoors with Larry Ray, some great pictures of after surgery, I guess you want to call it that, when the doctors like y'all, how many people were out there? How long did it take you to put these transmitters in? I got to ask before we let you go. I mean,
so I think it took us 4 or 5 nights to collect the 150 fish.
Okay, you did it at night? You did it at night? Yeah.
We do it at night. Yep. By the light of a headlight.
Why is that? I mean, that's just.
It's easier for us to collect fish at night. There's less people out fishing. We won't interrupt them when they're doing things. So it's just a lot easier and more effective for us to collect fish at night.
Okay. I guess people would come up and say, "What are y'all doing out there at night with your headlights going on, collecting fish like that?"
Well, they do that anyway. They do that anyway.
Well. Yeah. Great job, Christy. We appreciate you being on Outdoors with Larry Ray. And folks, again, you can go to my website, LarryRay.com, or go to the Arkansas Game and Fish website. Randy Zeller, Keith Stevens, all those guys do a great job. Christy, we'll stay in touch, okay, on this. And thank you for spending your time on Outdoors with Larry Ray, okay?
Sounds great. Thanks for having me, and have a great day.
All right, thank you, too. All right, let's take a break, and we'll be right back.
Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM.
Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife and Resources Agency.
Good Saturday morning, everyone, and welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray. Up next, we've got the man synonymous with the Southern tasty treat. Of course, I'm talking about cornbread.
Yes.
And here he is, the Oracle of Outdoors, Larry Ray.
Yes.
Oh, that's good. That was good, John. Thank you.
Well,
every third Saturday and second Saturday, we just never know when to get John in town. He's such a busy man. Is the media production manager.
Correct.
For Ducks Unlimited now, but good to have you, John. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Ron Wong's on the line too, from down in Ridgeland, Mississippi, at the
yes, sir,
at the Crappie Now and the Catfish Now media event, and he did mention our next guest, longtime friend. Done a lot for Outdoors with Larry Ray, and I know that he and Ron can share a lot of FedEx memories, but we don't have time for that right now. And, but we do want to talk to Johnny Cornbread Warren up at Reelfoot, guide, waterfowl guide, fishing guide, and got a big event coming up next Saturday. And so I said, I need to talk to Cornbread and get him on here. First of all, good morning, Cornbread.
Good morning, sir. How y'all doing this morning?
Let's talk about this event next week before we talk about the great duck season you had. All right? So,
okay. Yes, sir.
All right. And John's ready for that. But tell us about the Brim Bash on Reelfoot Lake.
Yeah, well, we have this every year. It's in May. We try to have it the same weekend. We may be pushed a little bit this next year, but this year we're still set. We're having this up here, all the benefits. It's put on by the Lions Club here at Reelfoot, and it's a charity, and we always use the money and everything to help the kids. We do a lot of work with the sight of the children. We do testing at the schools as well, and the monies that we get go for charity to buy glasses for needy kids, to help with operations that parents can't afford the money and this type of thing.
Cornbread. Can I break
yes,
in I don't do this very often, but you don't realize what the Lions Club means to me in my lifetime.
Yes.
My dad was the president of the Arkansas Lions Club.
Oh, okay.
And
wow,
he almost did.
I didn't know that.
Yes, he was, and I don't know how many glasses he did, but he was out of North Little Rock. But when I spoke at the Kiwanis Club, I thought I was going to be out of his will. You know, okay. When I thought I'd done the wrong thing there, Dad. Do you accept me doing that? Because I still have Lions Club mementos of my dad all the way in my office, and I just want to throw that in because the Lions Club is special, folks. And there's no telling how many people's eyesight has been improved by the Lions Club over the years. I marched in the Lions Club parade in Chicago, too, in my band. So anyway, go Cornbread. I'm sorry, but
that's okay. It ain't no problem. But anyway, we have this every year.
The Brim Bash.
And the Brim Bash here at Reelfoot, and it is a family event. We have some people that bring their kids, their grandkids.
Yeah.
We have fathers and mothers and grandmas, grandpas. They'll come up and they hang out. We have a great morning. We have one of the little school event groups that comes out and they serve sausage and biscuits, and we have coffee and this type of thing. And we've got a lot of people that have given us gifts, that type of stuff. I've been working with them now about 4 or 5 years on this, and since I've retired, I've gotten more involved in it. And it's we've lost a couple of our members because of age and death, and we're going to dedicate some things at this week.
So where is it? Now, I know it's at Reelfoot. Now, where is it?
Yep, it's at Reelfoot. It's at Keystone Park.
Keystone Park, okay.
Yep, and if you're at Tiptonville at the red light, the one and only red light right there at the crossing, you will make a right and you will go east.
Yeah.
And it's about 1.5 miles on the left. You'll see a big sign that says Brim Bash.
Yeah.
And there'll be a lot of signs out there, and you'll make that left and go down, and I'll be there about 5 o'clock in the morning, and people will come in and start checking in. It's $35 a boat, and then $10 big brim on top of that.
Okay.
And then we'll have coffee. Like I said, they'll pull their numbers and get all the information, and then we have weigh-in at 12 noon.
Okay.
And we just have a big time. We've got prizes, giveaways.
Do you have $1,000 first place? Is that right? I mean,
yes, sir. That is correct.
$1,000 first prize.
Wow. Yes, sir.
That's
pretty good money for a brim.
For $35, I mean, to go out there. And I
Yeah.
guess it's all ages. You got dads and granddads and kids.
Yeah, it's all ages. all ages, and you would be surprised. We have one grandfather that comes out there, and he'll bring 4 or 5 grandkids, and his wife and another lady will help watch them. You just got to dodge all those hooks and everything coming through there.
Yeah, you do.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
He came in one time. He looked like it was he'd been in a war somewhere. That man had so many dings. But we always have a great time out there, and it's a charity event that we really stand behind. And,
well,
just come see us. We'd love to have you.
That's next Saturday, May 18th. Johnny was talking about the Brim Bash on Reelfoot Lake, May 18th. Johnny will be there at 5, and you'll start fishing at what time, Johnny? What time?
First light.
First light, they'll start fishing, and the weigh-ins will be at noon. That's
Yes,
right.
sir.
And you're going to catch some big brim, aren't you, Johnny? I mean,
I hope so. We have right out there in front of my house. There's 3 or 4 brim beds out there. They've been wearing them out this past week. That temperature finally got up on the lakes.
Yeah.
And when it got up, those fish started coming in for about a week and a half. The males, of course, their tails were really red. They were fanning the beds really good. And then that temperature, when it hit 67, 68, them females went in there, and they've been catching some good fish. Now, one of the things I'd like to say about our fishermen now, they're really doing a great job at putting a lot of the females back.
Okay.
I've noticed that a lot of our guys, even the guides out there are telling me, and other people that are fishing on their own, that a lot of the people have started keeping the males, and if they catch a big female that's she's pretty full, they've been putting her back, and that's a really good thing. That way we'll have fish out there for our kids and our grandkids, and that's the main thing.
And Johnny, you've been I know you worked here at FedEx and lived in what, Bartlett, right?
Well, I lived in Collierville. I was in Fayette County and Collierville for over 30 years.
But now you're up there in the Reelfoot area, and of course John being he said we're going to talk any waterfowl today, and I said I don't know if Johnny wants to talk about it or not, but.
Even if it's bad, it's good.
It's good.
Oh yeah, it's always good.
So talk about it. I know you waterfowl people, and you're a guide up there, and you still call it the Honky Tonk Guide Service? Is that still?
It's called that, and it's called that for there was a real honky tonk there back in the '60s.
Yeah.
And it somehow fire got involved in the thing up there. It went down, and when it did, the name kind of stuck. People said, I'm hunting at the honky tonk this morning, and that kind of thing. So it just stuck there.
I want to get up there this year.
Come on.
I want to come, but talk about what it was last year.
Well, our December was kind of like everybody's. The weather. If you're a waterfowl hunter, you know that you've got to have 4 or 5 things to make everything click.
Yeah.
And most of the people that hunt with us, you'll have 1 or 2 that are killers, but you've got most of our people, 90% of them are hunters, and they know what happens. It can be 50 degrees and sun shining. People know that a duck won't work.
Yeah.
And but we eat a lot of sausage, and have a good time.
Good cooking, I know.
Yeah, Ron's in for that.
Ron's in for that. You are too, now.
Heck yeah.
Well, you know.
Yeah, but
I'm watching for ducks at the same time. Ron ain't gonna care.
No, Ron's not. Ron's cooking, but
he'll be crappie fishing out the back of the blind.
And we're talking to
That's
Johnny.
right.
Johnny Cornbread.
But our year, December, December was about like everybody else. It was below average.
What about January?
January came around. We had 8 days, 8 days below freezing temperature at Reelfoot, and those 8 days people wore them out pretty good, and everything else went back to normal after that. And I probably, it went back to an average January, I would say, after that. And I've had worse years, I've had better years. But you take the good with the bad, and whatever the good Lord gives us, we've learned to be thankful for it and prepare for next year.
And of course, there is food and socializing and things along that time that you can't do in a deer stand. I can tell you that for a fact. It becomes. And I know you got clients who've been coming up there with you forever, and you know that area, Johnny, better than a lot of people do. And so it's all up to the good Lord to see what kind of weather we're going to get. Like John Gordon, I mean, we can look now. Are we through with the spring counts and everything? Are we?
They're still working on it now, Larry. You know, it really the bird population surveys don't really come out until August.
August, yeah.
So they'll work on it over the spring and summer, yes.
Yeah. And I'm hearing so many different reports of wet up north.
The Dakotas got some pretty good rainfall, and now Saskatchewan is still dry. And it's been that way. There's no snowfall in Saskatchewan, which is crazy these days, and it's been that way for years.
Well,
right.
But we come
where I got it in northern Alberta, it was the same way. They had a lot of fires up in that area last year, and I didn't even go last year. It was one of the first years that I hadn't go up there.
Yeah.
And but this coming year, we're kind of looking at it again, but we're going to have to see how it is. But even up here where we're at right now, we've had so much rain up in northwest Tennessee that a lot of our corn. One of the main fields that we hunt out of right there, which is adjacent to the firing line on the north end of Reelfoot up there at the Honky Tonk, we're still waiting to plant right now. We got about 1.5 inches, 2 inches rain yesterday.
Yeah, well, I know that. So next weekend, next Saturday, May the 18th, the Brim Bash on Reelfoot Lake. And tell them again where that's going to be again, Johnny. Tell them.
That will be at Keystone Park, about 1.5 miles east of Tiptonville. And there's signs that'll say Brim Bash all over the place, and you'll turn back north right there and go down there about 1/2 mile on the right. You'll see all the folks and the kids and balloons and signs and everything out there, and we'll have a big, big time.
All right, Johnny, we appreciate you, buddy. Thank you for everything. We'll stay in touch, okay, man?
Okay, y'all call me. Come on up.
We'll do you. Bye-bye. Johnny Warren.
Bye-bye.
All right, let's take a break with Outdoors with Larry Ray. He's ready. Vic, you ready over there?
Yes, sir. I'm ready to go.
You're ready to go. We'll be right back with the St. Jude Bass Classic. What is it? Year number 41.
51.
51?
51, yeah.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, last year was 50. I didn't forgot that. All right, we'll be right back.
Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM.
Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife and Resources Agency.
Hey, welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray. I know that's not as exciting as John Gordon, media production manager at Ducks Unlimited.
That's right. I'm going to get you a T-shirt that says that.
I want that on there. That's a pretty long title, you know. Ron gets me all the shirts. Ron's my shirt man. But, hey, he's been sitting over quietly waiting for this moment. And, you know, I've been in touch with Steve Jones for a long time and talking about the St. Jude Bass Classic and what's going to happen. And I've been checking in with him, and unfortunately I will not be able to be there this year at the event. But it really made my day when I got a text from Steve saying that somebody stepped forward. And Vic Lucas, thank you, buddy, for stepping forward. You just told me you've been in that St. Jude Bass Classic 38 times out of the 51 years. And I just wanted to salute you on the air right now. And I know Steve's listening, and knowing that somebody came forward. So what does this tournament mean to you, Vic?
St. Jude is just an outstanding tournament that they've had for several years. Longest running tournament has been on Sardis Lake, 51 years.
Yeah.
It'll always be down there.
Yes. Yeah.
The great sponsors. You remember back when the days when it was 375 boats?
Yes, and blast off was dangerous.
Blast off was kind of bad, but especially with Ron driving
now watch
the
it
boat.
now. Now watch it now. That's Ron. That's when he forgot his glasses. But but it's still a tradition. 51 years. It's got offshoots in other places that have started this. And you guys have raised, I don't know how much money for St. Jude. You got any idea? I mean, over.
Got to be millions.
It's probably up to a couple $1 million.
It's over a couple of $1 million.
I think last year it was like 300,000.
300,000.
Close to it.
Yeah, and
that was raised.
The tournament itself. So tell us what's going to happen that weekend.
Well, that weekend on Saturday from 1 to 3 at the Batesville Civic Center, we will be checking in.
Okay.
For registration. We got some silent auction items that will be there.
Yeah, good.
To choose. We got tons of stuff to choose from
Great.
Pictures of a bass clock to jackhammers, a little bit of everything.
Jackhammers. That sounds like something. My wife needs one of those for me sometime. But
that's right.
So that's Saturday the 25th at the convention center, right?
Yes, sir.
In Batesville.
Batesville Civic Center.
Okay. All right. And then so that's going to be checking in. Okay. And then the tournament itself will be Sunday, the 26th, right?
Yes, sir. It will be Sunday morning. We'll probably open the ramp at 3 o'clock.
Yeah, I've been
that
there.
morning early.
Been there and done that.
Yeah.
Gave a lot of donuts a couple, 3 years down there for those hungry anglers and everything. And then the weigh-in will all be at the same Engineers Point, I'm assuming.
Yes, sir. It'll all be at the Engineers Point.
And that,
everybody will be putting in at Engineers Point. Holiday. Other point will not be able to available to put in at.
Okay, so everything will go out of Engineers Point then.
Yeah. Now you can put in any other ramp, but you'll have to check in at the pontoon boat.
At the pontoon boat. And this, folks, this is a big event, and I'm going to talk to Vic a little bit more about this, but I know, Ron, this event means a lot to you, doesn't it? I mean,
Larry and Vic, first of all, Vic, thank you so much for stepping up and taking it over for Steve and Lane Cook. They've done a wonderful job.
Yeah.
I know that you're going to really do a tremendous job. And I have to tell you, although I don't fish it anymore, St. Jude is still very, very close to my heart.
Yeah.
And it's like Kevin Niehaus asked me a couple of weeks ago when I saw him at a St. Jude event.
Yeah.
He said, Ron, can you come out and shoot pictures? It'll help St. Jude by saving money and not sending somebody down there.
That's what you're about.
And so I'm going to be down there, Vic, shooting pictures of the tournament. I look forward to it. My contribution to St. Jude because it's so near and dear to my heart.
That's right.
And just like you, Vic. And I have to tell you, I encourage all the anglers to come out and support St. Jude.
Yeah.
It's a great cause. It's a great lot of fun. It's also a time I get to see people that I've seen 45 years ago fishing that thing, and they come out. But it's a great event, and Vic, I know you're going to do a good thing, and I'll assume that there's going to be a live auction there at the weigh-in for anybody to take part in, and I'm sure there'll be T-shirts and everything else like that for sale, with all the proceeds going to St. Jude, right?
Well, all those people, folks, you can come whether you're fishing. It's an event, Vic, right? I mean,
yes,
people bring their lawn chairs and pull up a chair and food trucks and all that kind of stuff there, and you'll see people that you hadn't seen in such a long time. And I think I called Steve Jones, of course, is Steve Cook and his wife Lane, and what they have done health-wise to get through what they do. Now, do we have an MC?
Yes, sir, we do. Jimmy Wasson will be there.
Jimmy, and I was hoping I could be there. I shared the stage with Jimmy last year. A great young angler. Great to have Jimmy there, a professional angler, and knows how to work the crowd. And he worked me over last year. I know that for a fact. And we're going to try to get Jimmy maybe on Vic before the event again. But it's such a cool event. So you're still signing up people now, right? I mean, their boats are still, you can still enter now, right? I mean,
yes, sir. You can sign up all the way to 3 o'clock today, Saturday before the tournament.
You got an online process too?
Got an online process. If you go to stjudebassclassics.com.
Yeah.
And there's online registry you can pay by credit card. You can send us to a check through the mail.
And great sponsors. You got great sponsors.
We have some awesome sponsors. War Eagles still on board again.
War Eagle, great. The great guys.
So you got the grand tenders prize of the War Eagle boat.
There you go.
Yamaha motor.
There you go. Yeah. Well, it's just it's a family affair, folks, and I know Ron won it back. Two-time winner, Ron Wong.
It was several years ago. 1979 was the first time, and 1983 was the second time.
Well, you still remember them, though. I mean, because it's the prestigious part of this. If you look at the champions on this, and And we'll try to cover it on LarryRay.com with some of Ron's pictures, and I know we will because of the event itself.
Oh, yeah.
But Vic, tell us your feelings on this, because this is an awesome responsibility. And let's tip our hats to Steve, too, Vic, because how much he loves it. But the event itself for you, it's a lot of work. This is not an easy task, Vic.
Oh, no, sir. And Steve, I told him, I said, man, I'm kind of tied up. I can't really help you this year, but his health got so bad.
Yes.
And I've been friends with Steve and Lane since 2008.
Okay, yeah.
Fishing's
he's on his back. He can't get around.
No, sir.
And when I talked to him the last time, and I said, man, when I got that email, that text from him, like I said, the St. Jude Bass Classic is in 51 years. Golly, you think about some champions, folks. And Sardis fishing, you never know, right?
No, you never know from one day to the next.
And
That's right.
And we've had partners fishing that thing forever. I don't know what the record is, but I guarantee you some of those guys. I've been down there since '88, covering it for the paper first and doing those other things. But it's an event that's a family affair. You just can't picture, folks, that the scoreboard, they've got it real technical now. You guys can reel it off. The blast off is now in flights, right? So you'll have
yes, sir.
You'll have you going out in flights.
Flights of 50.
Yeah,
yep.
And we would love to have 200 boats.
Are you guys?
Yeah, we'd love
Are
to.
you guys going to have food there too?
Oh, there'll be a food truck.
Yes, sir. We already got the food truck set up.
See there? There you go.
We got the other sponsors set up.
And
like I said, silent auction and stuff. We're just trying to get that together.
And if you see the way they work this with saving the fish,
yeah.
And I guess Keith will be there. Keith Mills, he's always there from the
Yeah, he's always there.
Yeah,
surveying the fish, and they don't lose very many fish.
No,
you don't want to lose a fish because that costs you at the same time. But as many fish as caught with this, it works like a clock. But I guess the hardest thing for you guys, Vic, is you need helpers, volunteers, don't you? It's not just you out there.
No, sir. I've run some other trails, but nothing like this big.
Yeah.
So you have to have a lot of good volunteers, and right now they're lined up,
there you go.
ready to go.
Yeah.
They're on standby.
Yes, yeah.
And, I appreciate them very much. The Steve and Lane has really helped me keep my feet on the ground.
Yeah.
For the past 4 weeks, I've been really running.
You have, and I appreciate you taking time to be in studio with us on this Saturday morning, folks. And you can go to the St. Jude Bass Classic. What's it?
BassClassics.com.
All right.
StJudeBassClassics.com.
And find out all the information. We'll get it posted on LarryRay.com. And I know from Ron's point of view, he'll be down there taking pictures and they'll be posting those things. And it's what I would call this, and I think Ron would agree with it. This is a memory-making event. We don't have a lot of these. I mean, we do have, but this event for 51 years. You think about that, folks. How many presidents we've had in 51 years? How many different people have we've had? How many people have won that event? And right now, Ron, what would you take on that day and walk away with the victory? What do you think?
Last year there was one big weight.
Yeah, it was.
And I was surprised.
Yes.
I was very, very surprised.
Yeah, 26 pounds.
26 pounds. Thank you,
That's right.
Yeah.
I can't remember when that may have been the very heaviest bag of bass ever caught during that tournament.
Well,
this year you have low water.
Yeah.
Your water level's at about 254 feet above sea level right now, and because of the low water, the lake is going to fish small first of all, and so with all that commotion going on, I think if somebody came in with 18 pounds, I'm going to say 19 pounds.
Okay, I'm writing it down here. All right.
Yeah.
19 pounds.
All right, 19 pounds from Ron Wong. I'm gonna say 17 this year, but that's okay. That's all right, because they're not down there to fish they're fishing for St. Jude, people.
That's right.
They're
That's
fishing
right.
for the kids at St. Jude and Vic.
That's
Lucas.
right. Hey, if I could say one more thing.
Yeah, say it, buddy.
People are going to come down and fish for the tournament, but for the St. Jude if you know somebody that's been, their child has been with cancer.
Yeah.
This is what it means to me. I know somebody personally, and then I take it personally, and it's a bad feeling. And St. Jude has done so many things. I've been a donor for St. Jude for years, and I'm looking forward to keep on growing this tournament and keep it alive.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Big Lucas. All right, but let's take a break on Outdoors with Larry Ray. Finish it up with the Catfish Man himself. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM.
Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife and Resources Agency.
Hey, welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray, what we call the fastest 90 minutes in outdoor radio program. We're still trying to get in touch with our man Keith Catfish Sutton out of Arkansas, Alexandria, Arkansas, and Benton area, and longtime friend. He's down there with Ron at the Crappie Now and Crappie Catfish Now online media event that Ron Wong is at, and of course John Gordon is sitting in the studio. And I wanted to, as we wait to hook up with Keith, John, give us an update on what's going on at DU as far as your videos and all the work you're doing now.
Yeah, I tell you what, a lot of what we're doing on the video side is getting ready for the National Convention coming up.
Yes.
The end of this month in San Diego, California.
In San Diego. You know, I lived in San Diego for 3 months.
No kidding.
In the 6th grade. Yeah, my parents tried to patch up their wedding, their marriage, and it didn't work. It was a long drive. It's a long drive to San Diego, and particularly a long drive back when your parents don't like each other.
Well, true.
I spent 3 years off and on in San Diego.
We lived in La Jolla.
I was on board a ship, and that was our home port.
So anyway, tell us.
So the National Convention's coming up. It's always a big event for Ducks Unlimited every year.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a real gathering of a lot of our
San Diego for the Ducks.
San Diego. The new president Bob Spruill is coming in.
Okay.
So they'll get him lined out there at that event. You've got all the major donors and board members are going to be there. So it's a big deal for DU.
Well, what's going on in the production manager?
Production-wise, we're still for DU Nation-wise.
You're setting it all up?
We're setting it all up. I was just got a big one done the other day with the Drake Waterfowl guys, Jim Ronquist, Justin Carpenter.
Oh, yeah.
Are going to be with me in Prince Edward Island. We're going to go up there late October.
In Prince Edward Island.
Film up there,
Have you been there before?
I have never been. Never been to Canada. So I'm really looking forward to it.
But I've never been to Prince Edward Island. I'd like to go to
we filmed at PEI. You'll be able to see 2 episodes of Ducks Unlimited Television that were filmed in Prince Edward Island this last season. So that'll be coming out probably, let's see, the TV show will air last week of June, first week of July.
Okay, all right.
On the Sportsman Channel. And let's see, those episodes at PEI will be probably episodes 2 and 4, I think. That's how they're going to break them up this year. But, yeah, we got 2 episodes coming from that show because the hunting was fantastic. We got striper fishing on that show and everything else. Ooh. Prince Edward Island is a real sportsman's paradise.
Oh, yeah. So how long will y'all be at Prince Edward Island?
We're going to be there 4 days.
4 days.
We're going to, me and my videographer, Zach Elsherman, are going to cut down to Maine after that. And we're going to do some stuff there in northern Maine. Just across the border from New Brunswick.
You'll be there in October?
Mm-hmm. Well, early November in Maine, late October Prince Edward Island.
Weather could be...
It could be.
Not that it matters to a waterfowl hunter.
No, it could. Yeah, you're actually hoping there's some kind of weather.
You're hoping it's that. Yeah, it's that kind of weather.
Hey,
boy,
Larry, I'm sorry to interrupt.
What?
But I learned, Shelby, that Keith Sutton is trying to call in.
Yeah, we're getting
We'll have her caller.
Oh, we got John Gordon updated going to Prince Edward.
So anyway, Prince Edward Island.
Right. Prince Edward
the big
Island.
one, yeah.
But you can still go to ducks.org and go to DU.
Well, let's see. We got DU TV on there, DU Films. So the DU Nation stuff is all on YouTube.
All on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, John Gordon. Thank you. Media Production Manager, John Gordon.
That's
I've
correct.
got that title down.
He's a good guy now.
Yeah, I've got it now. I've got it now. So we're back. We're back in Ridgeland, Mississippi. I thought this guy was trying to avoid me or something like that. I was about to take catfish out of his name, but great memories with this guy coming on with us right now is Keith Sutton on Outdoors with Larry Ray. Hey, Keith, good Saturday morning to you, buddy.
Hey, Larry, I was trying to reel a fish in.
Oh, you was trying to reel.
Just as the phone rang, there was a fish hit the line, and we were busy, so I couldn't put it down. It was too much fun.
Well, that sounds like Wong. It's either that or eating a hush puppy. He can't put that down either. But
well, that's true. I know.
Let's talk, man. Keith, you and I go back a lot of years and
long
time, buddy. And we were just talking. I wished I could be at Fontana next week, but I just can't do it. It's just to say almost goodbye to some folks that are very precious to me. Are y'all going to be able to go, you and Teresa?
We are actually going to be there, Larry. We sure are. We're looking forward to it. It's going to be kind of bittersweet, but we'll be there.
Well, tell everybody hello from me and Miriam, and sorry we'll be there in spirit, but we know you're in Richland. And Ron is down there. Please keep an eye on for him.
Oh no, I'm not going to take on that responsibility.
Okay,
that's too much.
We'll let somebody else do that. Let's talk about Catfish now, buddy. The man that's got it's called Catfish. What better place for you to be a part of? So talk about what's going on. Tell us what's going on.
Fighting. We're out right now. We are pulling planer boards and. We're out on Ross Barnett, just outside of Ridgeland, and it's a beautiful lake. It's my first time here. I'm out with two B&M pro fishermen, Michael Haney and his brother Rodney Krim.
Okay.
And they know all about catching catfish. I'm kind of hanging back here and watching what they're doing, and they're doing the catching. I said I was reeling it in, but actually Michael had one on. And we were trying to get some video and some photos. We're here trying to get some media coverage that we'll use in the magazine I edit, catfishnow.com. And so far, so good. We've had a good day. We've put a few fish in the boat, hoping for something a little bigger maybe, but Michael just reeled in it's some nice fish, especially if you're a person who likes to take them home and eat. This lake's full of them.
Well, I know, again, we're talking to Keith Sutton. And, Keith, I know that as writers, and I still consider myself that, and as we go back over the years and everything, the evolution now online. So talk to us about Catfish Now. What can we find if we're part of that Catfish Now online?
Well, we're hoping what you can find is just about any kind of information you might want. If you're a person that likes to fish in the back 40 farm pond, or if you're a tournament professional that likes to fish the big tournaments, we got something for everybody. And our goal is to be sort of the go-to source for anybody that wants to learn more about catfish and catfishing. We cover the whole scope of just about everything, from how to catch them, what bait to use, where to go, just the whole gamut. And our goal is to be a source of information for anybody who's wanting to learn something a little more that'll help them put some fish in the boat or on the bank. And it's growing like crazy.
Yes.
There's a lot of people. It's free, so anybody who's listening, what can you get for free anymore? Well, this is a great magazine. If you'll go to catfishnow.com, first thing that'll happen, a little box will pop up, and all you got to do is put your email address in there, and we'll send it to you once a month. Doesn't cost a penny. Once every month, and you'll find all kind of great information in the magazine. And we're trying to make it every man's magazine. We want everybody, even if they're just getting started. We're trying to provide as much information as we can that'll help them have a more fun experience outdoors.
Well, you said the word free there, and people said, well, he didn't believe. I don't believe that. Nothing's free right now. But,
you're right. You're right.
But we have both come from different media outlets where, we sold them for magazines, and so today's magazine is now online. And so it's an entirely different venture. But the thing about it is, there's no limit on size. I used to have to write a 12-inch story. Now,
Nobody understands that anymore.
No, why edit now? No, my editors used to cut me down and said, you don't need to use those words. We got to get this in small,
Yeah.
And now, so how do you adjust to that, Keith? You've written so much over the years.
Oh, my gosh. It's really been hard. I'll be honest with you. I've been writing since the mid-'70s.
That's right,
and,
yeah.
It's just the whole world has changed. It's not just the outdoor community or writing community. It's all changed. But I look at it this way. It's good. I think I try to look at it that way and be positive, because what we have now right at our fingertips is so much solid information.
Yes,
You gotta weed out the chaff. There's some.
Well, we did that.
Anybody can write anything, but we had to do that too.
Oh yeah.
And nowadays, there's just so many resources available to you. I can do things now I never dreamt of doing. I fixed a refrigerator at home the other day, watching a YouTube video. Can you believe that?
No, I cannot believe that.
I never would have dreamt.
Do you have a video of you fixing something off a video?
I should have done that. It probably would have got a lot of hits, I think. Nobody would believe it. But there's so much out there, and we don't just do print copy that you read. We also are a social media magazine.
That's right,
and we've got a presence on YouTube, on Facebook, on TikTok, on just about everything.
Yeah.
And we try to be a source for whatever your venue is you like to use. We try to be there for you too. Well, we're out here right now. We're shooting videos, doing some interviews on the water, getting really good information from these anglers.
It'll be on Catfish Now then, right? I mean, pretty soon.
That's right.
Pretty soon.
We got a new magazine. We'll be posting our May magazine sometime in the next week, probably.
Isn't
so a brand new one will go up, and you can go back right now. A nice thing is you can look at every magazine we've put up. There's quite a few of them, too.
Well, I know that we're about out of time. I know in the old days, Keith, we'd write something and it would be published next year. And we just hope that nobody got hit by a truck between now and then. But again, this is been talking to Keith Sutton, our good friend, legend of the Outdoor Hall of Fame. I'm so glad I was there for that moment, Keith, with your family.
Oh,
and all that stuff.
Was very humbling.
Yeah, well, we're going to have Gary Mason on next week's show, folks, and he's going to talk about this year's class. Keith, thank you, man, for being with us.
You bet, Larry.
Tell Teresa hello, and all the good folks.
Same to Miriam.
We will.
I appreciate you having us on. Ron, thanks for setting us up.
Go catch up.
We appreciate y'all.
Go back fishing.
Right, see you guys.
See you.
Bye.
All right. Keith Sutton. Let me talk about next week's show real quickly, because Frank Barton will be in the studio. We're going to talk to Matt Simcock of the Tennessee Wildlife Federation about their Hunters for the Hungry program. They broke all the records this year for venison for those people that need the food. And we're also going to talk a lot about some other events coming up on next week's show. John Gordon, thank you for being in studio.
Thanks, Larry. Great as always.
Always good to have you. Vic Lucas, thank you, buddy.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Hope it wasn't too hard on you. Rod Wong,
no, sir.
Go back to food and fishing. Okay, buddy? All right?
I love it.
Bye. We'll see you, Ron.
All right.
Bye-bye. What do we say, Ron, before we go now? It doesn't cost an extra cent to be a good sport. And what else, guys?
God bless the USA.
USA.